She flashed you a weak smile and then double-checked that she had all her things together.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone. Before she could make her exit, Derek sprung up as well.
Okay.
Wait, Hark, Hark and I should get going too. You don't have to leave by yourself. What a gentleman. At that, Nicholas and George finally stopped what they were doing and turned to their big brother. Both of them wore identical frowns. Derek glanced away from Liz towards the growing audience. Sorry, we'll see you again tomorrow. He sheepishly scratched the back of his neck while his brothers continued to stare pitiably. Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't you come over to my place for a change? Mom and Dad are welcome, obviously. You too, Liz. Let's do it tomorrow. That idea was met by surprise, but the room shifted positively. Getting to Derek's place was more unanimously agreed on than even Mr. Suarez being a cheater. A new plan made, the group said goodbye for now. You and Derek accompanied Liz out. Though halfway, Derek paused and remembered to barrel back inside. He almost forgot to take the console home with him again. That's what I figured. Perfect timing or not, Derek wasn't letting it slip through his fingers. He returned in record time, as if he joined an actual race. Together, you hung outside with Liz until she was safely on her way home. It was still mind-blowing that you didn't have to center your life around the bus or a shuttle schedule anymore. By the time Liz's ride was out of sight, the sun was hanging low in the sky. It would be dark soon. You hopped into Derek's car and flopped to the front seat. You were ready to settle down for the day. Derek carefully stored the console, cords, and 2 controllers in the back seat before taking his spot behind the wheel. As soon as Derek pulled the door shut, he slapped his fingers on the steering wheel. Woo! I've been waiting forever to try that new game.
You know it.
Well, it's not that new. It's already a few years old, but you know what I mean. You're adorable. Weren't we just playing games? You matched his eagerness. You gave him a thumbs up. It should be too bad. You're adorable. There was no stopping your tiny smile. It's so cute when you're excited. You light up. Huh. He hung onto the steering wheel for dear life. Dude, so many screaming signals. Signals. Ground control to Major Derek. Ground control to Major Derek. Do you hear me? Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
I see how it
All
is.
right, I'll take your word for it, but from where I'm sitting, there's definitely someone cuter. Derek eagerly turned the key and the engine roared to life. Within seconds, you were cruising down the road again. Thank you. He flirted back. Thank you. I'm really glad you and your brothers got to open up to each other. Thanks for helping Liz come see me. You let Derek make conversation. I'm really glad you and your brothers got to open up to each other. You caught Derek off guard with that. His eyes widened before his whole expression softened. Me too. It was a good reminder. Just because we know that we love each other doesn't mean we can take it for granted. You'll never know what's going on unless you try to see it. Yeah, it takes effort to keep a relationship alive. The rest of the ride passed by in a comfortable silence, and soon enough, you were standing in his apartment door. Derek pushed it open and motioned for you to go in first. Of course he did. I didn't beat him to it this time. Smirking, he decided not to count this as a win for Derek. Since he was the only one with the key, how else were you supposed to get inside? Ah, see? Doesn't count. Carrying the console and its various wires under his arm, Derek trailed behind you. He casually gestured towards the living room.
I got you.
Take it easy and relax. I'll get this bad boy set up. You appreciate the gesture. No, how can I help? Or you could relax and I'll set it up.
What?
What? You can't turn this around on me. Why not? You did all the driving. Now you can take it easy. You're driving me all over the place. You're hosting. I mean, come on, Derek. Let me do something for you. Derek scratched the side of his head. You didn't budge from your position. Your logic does check out, but I got this. I'm a gamer too. Derek reluctantly released the cords and let you take over managing the task.
Aww.
Thanks, Hark. He sat on the edge of the couch, kicked his shoes off, and then stretched his legs out. Once the console was all ready, Derek declared something was missing. Luckily, it wasn't one of the cords. That was covered. I'm gonna put my pajamas on. We can't have a late-night game session in regular clothes. Oh yeah, I'll change too. I mean, I know Derek that you sleep nude. I know that you sleep nude, or at least shirtless. So don't feel like you need to change anything while I'm here. Just be as comfortable as you want. Awesome. Let's regroup in 5. Oh yeah, I'll change too. Let's regroup in 5. With a deadline set, you both scrambled down the hall and into your own rooms. A few minutes later, you returned to about the same spot where you come in, but clad in much cozier outfits.
Nice work.
He still looks cute. I really love his pajama pants. That is very Derek. And his shirt is very form-fitting. I like his blue shirt a lot. He's super cute. That's gonna be a record. Now we're set. Derek retrieved the game you got at the mall. The case had been waiting patiently on the coffee table for quite a while. With the life sim, it's not a VS thing. It's not a versus thing, so the two of us get to be on the same team this time. Whoa, woo, look out game. Team Angel Suarez is a go. Let's kick this game's butt. He threw up a high five that Derek enthusiastically met with a loud slap. He picked up a controller and shot you a wink. Derek put the game in and hovered by the console until he was satisfied that things were booting up correctly. He then relocated to the couch across from the TV and plopped down in the center. You claimed the other couch. You opted to sit on the floor. You went to sit on the same couch. You dive-bombed next to him. The motion tilted him slightly on the cushion. Your dramatic arrival sent him into a fit of laughter. Derek's cheeks were flushed as he wiped a tear from the corner of his eye. I am so sending this guy as many signals as I possibly can from now until I leave. Because he is not getting it. He is not, we are not on the same frequency right now, and he needs to tune in really fast. Hi, Hark. Hey. You were close enough that your legs brushed against his while you got comfortable. Even after putting a few inches between you both, your shoulders occasionally bumped. Derek's welcoming smile brought a warmth to you. Or maybe it was your hyper-awareness of his body heat radiating through your side. Either way, it was getting hotter. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. And on that note, your new lives in the digital world began. Hours rapidly went by from there. You handled the game with ease. You were getting by just fine. You weren't exactly any credit to the team. I mean, I play Sims all the time. It was a team effort, but still, you were breezing through this game. There wasn't a challenge that you couldn't easily solve on your own. Derek, on the other hand, was experiencing the opposite situation. He was going to chew a hole through the inside of his cheek at this rate from trying to keep up. Your throat was sore. I mean, you definitely are besting me at, like, the physical games. Like, sports, basically. So don't feel bad. We cover each other's weaknesses. Bolster each other's strengths, cover each other's weaknesses. Your throat was sore from the highs of making each other laugh, and from the lows of shouting out of frustration at the TV. The game was still in full swing, when suddenly Derek spoke up. Not for further commentary on your digital movies, but for real-life considerations. Did you want any snacks? There's only one snack here that I am interested in nibbling. Mr. Suarez. Just one snack. Just... How much more obvious can I make it to you? Out of habit, you glanced in his direction. He had his sight locked on the TV screen even still. I can't keep putting my stomach off. Could you hold down the fort while I'm gone? Before you could even answer, Derek was already out of his seat and dashing towards the kitchen. I'm on it.
It's no problem.
I can bring something for you too. How about a banana split from Not Another Teen Movie, Derek? For any of you who know that reference. Banana split. Not Another Teen Movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Chris Evans, by the way, everyone. Chris Evans. I'll have whatever you're having. Can I have the snack I picked out earlier at the store? You messed up the progress he'd made in the game. You messed up the No. I don't need any snacks, thanks. I'll have whatever you're having. Cool, I'll grab enough for both of us. From the repeated clatter of cupboard doors, you knew he was checking every cabinet for the best treats. Your stomach began rumbling in anticipation. Derek returned, and his arms were filled with all kinds of goodies you'd picked up on your grocery trip, and a couple you hadn't seen before. They must have been tucked away for a special occasion before you'd arrived. He carefully placed 2 water bottles down and then dumped the rest onto the coffee table.
All right.
Behold! Derek flopped down onto the couch and did a double take at the table. You'd already managed to swipe a handful of things. Ready to jump back in?
You've got it.
You know it. The TV's change in brightness as the game resumed from the dimmed pause menu was noticeable. Squinting, you listened to the familiar music flowing through the speakers until your eyes adjusted. Though it wasn't long before the game managed to suck you in once again. The night slipped by joyously. At one point, you took turns watching the other work through some single-player content. Despite Derek's usual position as the responsible one, you unknowingly stayed up gaming late into the night. Gradually, your eyelids drooped. Your laughter was replaced by yawns, and your voices grew softer until they were whispers, floating slowly into cotton-filled ears. The last thing you heard was the melody of the game's music still playing, but sounding so far away. You returned to awareness slowly. Your eyes were still heavy, and you rubbed at them. Crushed into a cushion, you were exactly where you started your virtual exploits last night, on and off, white couch with Derek. Your head was on one end while his was at the opposite side. Derek's legs were awkwardly tucked underneath your arm and lower back. It couldn't have been comfortable for him either. Instead of collapsing onto the floor, you'd fallen over each other. Despite your blurry vision, you could make out his apologetic smile. Derek was already awake. He let out a low chuckle, one with far more life in it than anyone who had just been unconscious would have.
Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't want to risk waking you by moving. We've kind of been stuck like this for a while. Good-humoredly, he winked. Having a sleepover in the living room as grown-ups definitely has one perk over doing it as kids. Said perk was interrupted by the sound of a ringing phone. Derek's eyes widened in an instant and he shifted to reach his phone on the coffee table. He checked the caller ID and a disbelieving smirk crossed his face. His voice was a whisper.
Are you serious?
No way! You couldn't guess whose mere call would get that reaction. He slid his finger across the screen and tapped the speaker button. Casually, he leaned back into the couch and stretched out an arm. Is it Lee? From the fond twist of his lips, you knew this at least had to be someone close to him. Hey, Nico.
Hey.
Morning, bro. Hello. Good morning. I'm also here. Nico, you're calling so early. I'm just gonna listen, curiously. Listening in sounded like less work than participating in the conversation. Derek didn't alert his brother of your presence either.
What's up?
So, what's up? What do you think? Hark is leaving soon, isn't he? So, when will he come over to see me? Now? Soon? Derek theatrically rolled his eyes, inwardly laughing at Nicholas's eagerness. We gotta talk about it. And I mean me and Hark, not me and you. And I mean me and Hark, not me and you. You can go get him. I know Hark is there, obviously. Somehow you could hear the pout on his face. Sorry, Nico, you're gonna have to share. We'll sort it out and I'll let you know.
Fine.
Alright, see you later. Yeah, I promise. Bye, I will definitely see you. Take care. You thought that went as well as it could have. You thought it went as well. I'm just gonna keep quiet. Derek waited a moment and then ended the call with a tap to his phone screen. Nico's gesture really was sweet. It might have been years since you last babysat him, but you still had held a special attachment for him that you didn't for any other teen. Derek let out another long sigh, still holding the phone in the air. He looked up at the device as if it was a magic wand.
Oh, man.
I should have figured. Derek, what were you going to say before he called? Derek shook his head with a wry expression. I was about to say that with my own place, we didn't have to worry about little brothers interrupting our peaceful morning together. Technology has proven me wrong. He snorted. Nicholas didn't even need to call a psychic. The timing was prophetic. Speak of the devil, right? He must have called as soon as he dragged himself out of bed. Typical Nico. He shrugged a single shoulder and then reached down to place his phone on the table again.
It's no problem.
We can still take it easy, though. You should take it as easy as possible before a stressful trip. He carefully disentangled itself from you and got to his feet. You flopped down onto the couch as he slipped out, suddenly blessed with more space. You pushed yourself up and settled into a sitting position. I'm gonna take a shower and everything, then we should have breakfast. He finally left the mild comfort of the couch, shaking off the remaining sleepiness. Go for it. Wash that hair. I have to get ready too.
Talk to you later.
See you soon. With that, he headed off to the back of the apartment. You skipped to your room to begin your normal morning routine after a particularly not normal start of the day. Brush your teeth. Just in case. This is our last day. This is our last day, Archangel. Brush them teeth. Gargle some mouthwash. Do everything you can. Derek's insistence on playing in pajamas had certainly worked out in ways you hadn't foreseen. Maybe he'd had an inkling of it. With two game-loving brothers, it was possible he had practiced dozing off on the control before. While changing your wrinkled clothes, your phone buzzed with a text from your sister. Liz was giving you the heads up that she was going to pop in to see some friends in the afternoon while she had the chance, but she'd be there to see you off before the end of the day. You typed a quick message letting her know that was cool and sent it. When you finished your morning ritual, you returned out to the main area of the apartment. Finished with his own daily prep, Derek had made his way back onto the couch. He couldn't stay away for long. Welcome back. Thank you. Hunger had become a third wheel to your party by that point, and you got to work to send it on its way. You and Derek threw something together and had a relaxed meal. It was all good. The two of you could pretend that this wasn't the last time you'd be waking up together for who knew how long. Oh, Liz texted while you were gone. She's gonna see us after she does some friend stuff. It'll be the evening probably. He nodded along, not looking shocked. Liz grew up in the area too. She had plenty of roots to water in that land.
Anyway.
See, there's the thing. If it was me in real life, I would have brought up the whole, alright, look dude, Do you like me or not? Do you like me, bro, or not? I would totally, like, had brought that up the night before. Or this morning. But more likely the night before. Like, last night. I would have brought it up while we were playing. But we'll just play this out, see what happens. Speaking of people to see, my family's coming over here today, and so is Liz. But we gotta ask your moms and Mr. Holden still. They're gonna want to say bye, I bet. Thanks for letting them visit. I'll text them. Of course. It's gonna be so cool to open up my own place to the grown-ups after being their guest a million times. So, okay, let me just pause here. Don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy that we get to spend a lot of time with his brothers, his parents, my sister, my parents, Mr. Holden. I enjoy that we're able to hang out with all these people. But by this point in the game, I really feel like the developers, writers have just been stringing us along. I think it's too much. I'm like, oh yeah, we just saw my family yesterday. Let's see them again today. And I'm like, Derek, can we just talk about us? Can we just talk about us for a shit? Can we have some quality you and me time? Because, okay, the video game was quality platonic time. We've had a lot of quality platonic time. We haven't really had a chance to really, really dive into Hark and Derek, like, beyond platonic time at all. And so it's getting to the point where I am a little frustrated, if I'm being honest. Like, I do like all the content, but I think, again, there are so many people who are playing this DLC because they want to romance Derek. And it is taking a while. It is taking a while to get to Derek. Meanwhile, they're throwing in all of these plot points. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to see our family again. We just saw them yesterday. We're going to hang out with them again. And I'm like, that's fine. Can we get to the romancy stuff first? Because I'm worried that we're going to run out of time. And it's just going to be a little bit of a blip at the end. That's what I'm really worried about. Like, can we become officially a thing and then have that be like a good way to celebrate everybody coming over? You know, once we're actually a thing and we like announce that we're together. I don't know. Like, that's just a thought. That was the biggest thing I'm worried about. And I'm like, time's running out. It's like, okay, all these people are coming over. Great, but that's not why I'm playing this DLC. I am ultimately not playing this DLC to just continually socialize constantly with people other than Derek all the time. Like, hopefully people understand. Like, I'm not trying to be difficult. I really am not. This is how I'm feeling right now. And I honestly have been feeling it for a while. There are so many parts of this DLC I definitely enjoy, and there's so many storylines and scenes. I love the brother stuff. I totally love the brother relation stuff, and I'm going to talk about that later. But, like, it's like, yeah, we get to hang out with Mr. Holden. Cool. I only need that for, like, a few minutes. Cool, we're hanging with Liz. Again, I only need that for a few minutes. Mr. Suarez, Mrs. Suarez, great. My parents, great. I only need that for, like, a few minutes. But I want Derek. I want more Derek. Of course, it's gotta be cool to open up my own place to the grown-ups after being their guest a million times. And I love having you here with me. It's like we're living together, for real, permanently, as if you weren't just a guest. It's like the writers are doing this on purpose. They're doing this on purpose.
That's a bummer.
Too bad it's gotta end. All morning, he'd appeared giddy, excited by her presence. That light still shone through, but averting her eyes from reality wasn't a foolproof strategy. He accidentally broken the illusion. He pressed his lips together tight, and his brows pulled intensely. I'm waiting for the music to change into emotional music, because then maybe we'll actually start getting into the emotional part that I've been waiting for. So I'm just waiting for that change in tone. Today's got to be big. It's the last chance. We should do something you couldn't do anywhere else. Yeah, today's gotta be big. This is the last chance, Derek. Don't F this up. You braced yourself for the coming conclusion and then smiled. You have the best ideas. Yes, let's do it. Now, how to end this trip on a bang? The last chance. Those 3 words came back softly, a more fragile echo of the original, yet they held even more weight. Well, he paused to take in a deep, intentional breath. Then he plainly offered a suggestion. We could go to the boardwalk.
What do you think?
It's even further away than the water park, and we'd probably have to leave after only an hour, but we could make it if you want to. What do you think? Derek's normally clear eyes were clouded with emotion. The boardwalk was a special place to him. Sure, heck yeah. Are you kidding? We gotta go. That's perfect, if you want to. He nodded intently. Are you kidding? We gotta go. Could you run out the door right now? It can't be too early.
Let's get to it.
Yes, let's do it. He was halfway to jumping to his feet before he realized where he was. As soon as we finished our food, obviously. That did not seem obvious to Derek until a second ago. We could eat in on the road. Yeah, we'll need the energy. I want to have as much time with him as possible. We could eat on the road. Oh, all right. You let your anticipation carry you through snarfing bits of food while bundling up anything portable. The dishes hit the sink, and Derek waved off washing them. Now, for a change, we need to hit that Ferris wheel. We need to complete the Love Simon, Love Victor loop. Get on that Ferris wheel. Without Nico. He raided one of his cabinets for granola, and he pointed out some other snacks to take. All in all, you were ready and out the door in 7 minutes. During the drive, Derek's brain was in sharp focus. We should make sure everyone knows that the get-together will be for dinner. A late-ish dinner.
I got you.
I'll leave. Yeah, I know you got me, Derek, but do you have me yet? You haven't had me yet. I'll leave it to you if you want to tell the gang about our own plans for the day or keep it a secret. I don't know if you want to deal with everyone asking why they weren't invited, but they are a lot more grown up than they used to be. Sometimes I forget that. The effort of keeping it hidden doesn't seem worth it. Are you kidding? I'm bragging about this. I'll just tell them. Greta, say hush hush. I'm just gonna say it's our secret. It's our secret. He put a finger to his lips. I won't say a word. You can't tell everyone everything all the time. I want something that's just us. Just us. Because I haven't had that in a while. After a very long ride and some struggles with parking, Derek had to resort to circling like a vulture until a spot opened up. You and Derek were strolling under a wide blue sky to the bustling boardwalk. The boardwalk amusement park was as dizzying and dazzling as it was 10 years ago. Music was playing from storefronts, screams blared out at the peaks of the coaster, and crowds of people were laughing and talking from all sides. You knew as soon as the scent of the sea and the fried foods struck your senses that this was the right call for your last stop on your trip with Derek. At your side, Derek spoke, soft and sentimental. We made it. Took us long enough. Together, you stepped further down the path. For a place that felt so alive, it was almost uncanny how little had changed over the years. The bike rental store was there, though they also offered shiny new electric scooters. There were still vibrant stalls offering a variety of fair foods, and the 2 big rides, the roller coaster and the Ferris wheel, continued to tower above the bustling crowds. You were sure of one difference without needing to see it. The face painting counter would have a total stranger running it. Xavier had moved on to decorating cakes rather than children's cheeks. Still, being there was a time machine to a summer long gone. You and Derek were 2 teens once again. He got your attention with enough boyish excitement to confirm it. I'm glad that the very first moment I did was the boardwalk. And now we're ending this section with the boardwalk. It's like full circle. So I'm super happy we did it that way.
So?
What do you want to do all we can? We have to leave pretty early to make it back to the farewell dinner. But we can ride the rides, grab a treat, browse some stores, or we could rent our own bikes if you want. His pure enthusiasm made frowns outright impossible. You chuckled, the joy vibrating through you coming out. Your first time at the boardwalk was an experience. It was such a huge trip. Both of your parents and siblings had been there, but separated into 2 groups. For better or for worse, you went all across the very boards concurrently under your feet. Meanwhile, the adults hadn't had their heels on the floor. They were fit into pedals. The shock you felt learning they'd gone off on bikes without a care in the world was as fresh as ever in your mind, and that wasn't all that lingered within you. Important decisions about face painting, Nico being carried around like a sack of potatoes, snacks on the bench as the sun set, and the Ferris wheel. Viewing it not only in hindsight, but as an adult made the moments even more significant. They were precious. You'd never experience your first time here again, or what it was like to be 13 when the world was only beginning to open up wide. Even so, your thoughts weren't completely tinged in rose. A fuzzy blanket of nostalgia couldn't make you forget how it almost wasn't a nice time. How it only got to stay good because one person cared enough to make certain it did. How Derek Suarez cared more for others than himself. That remains starkly true about him more than a decade later. For the brief time you've been in the area, he gladly let Nicholas direct the activity multiple times, and did his best to not let George feel left out. Derek gave up going to the water park so he could attend a business luncheon on his father's behalf. Along with looking out for his own family, he never let that supersede your comfort or wants. And he accommodated your sister too, after putting all the effort to help her come see everyone. You were sure he had fun being a part of the misadventures, but most times he's been a passenger in the exploits, despite having to be the person who drove everyone else. That answered Derek's question for you. I think that you shouldn't ask me what I think. This is your day to enjoy the boardwalk after spending your whole life making sure everyone else had fun here. Derek's grin collapsed open. A crease formed in his brows. He was stunned and very touched. While the appreciation was unmistakable, he hesitated to accept such an offer.
Don't worry about
You don't have to do that. It's your vacation, and you've missed out on stuff too. I have missed out on stuff. I've missed out on a lot of stuff. Romancy stuff, Derek. Derek. You want to know what I want to do on my last day of my vacation? You want to know what I want to do? Starts with D, ends with K. That it's Derek. It's not what you think. I was gonna say starts with D, ends with K. It's Derek, obviously. You weren't surprised by that response, but it didn't play like a rejection. He only needed some extra encouragement, like a kid who thought it was bad to open a present before his birthday, even if he got permission from the giver. And it's your vacation too. A working vacation, but still. Eye contact temporarily failed him. Derek watched his own foot scuff at the spot where one slab of wood met another. A downturned face didn't hide the wide smile across it. Thanks, Hark. Don't thank me yet. Have some fun first. Gradually, his normal confidence returned. It wasn't a mistake. He wasn't doing something wrong. He could simply enjoy himself. And he could. And he would. Okay then, if you're positive, sure. Want to get our faces painted? We've got to start the day right. I had a feeling you might say that. Yeah, you laughed. That's a wonderful idea. You definitely can. I'll watch. Yeah, you laughed. Woo! Derek spun in a half circle and resolutely thrust a hand ahead of him, straight towards the chosen destination.
Nice.
I'm gonna get whatever I want. It could be anything. The sky's the limit. Yeah, although I get to pick where it's put. Like your left pec. No. It's fine. And I get to paint it. I get to be the one to paint it. No, it's good. We're good. I'll put a little heart symbol, a little heart to hark symbol on his pec. The cheer in his voice and the shimmer in his eyes was better than any thrill the boardwalk could have offered. You almost had to feel guilty yourself. He'd done you another favor by allowing you to be the one who did him a favor. That tended to be the way it went. You weren't complaining about that particular dynamic. Hey, you getting one? Of course, I'll give it a try. You nodded. I don't need anything. Of course, we're both doing this. Cool. With no time to lose and a plan in mind, you and Derek went to the old face painting stand with the new artist. Welcome. I got a free spot if you could see something you like. Oh, I see something I like. I definitely see something I like. The painter was far less glamorous than Xavier, but no less friendly, or worse at their job. If the new example photos were to be believed, they had their own flair in the strokes and choice of color. You ushered Derek into the seat. It was his day, and for once, he was going to go first. After you. He appreciatively obliged, strutted ahead, and hopped onto the raised chair. Derek had no embarrassment over being an adult at a face painting stall. It was nice to see. It's very adorable. Oh, excellent. What can I get you? Derek took a polite glance at the offered styles in display, though didn't need to take any time to decide. How about a shooting star? Isn't that what I got? Good choice. Isn't that what I got? I think I did. The artist wasn't simply being polite. Well, they might have been, but shouldn't if they were. Derek beamed like a star himself. Nothing could have fit better. Taking it from point to point before attaching a long tail, soon Derek's cheek was emblazoned with a bright star streaking across his face. But they hadn't finished yet. The stall had upped its production value since you were last there. The artist added the finishing touch of glitter to the centerpiece and painted sparkles over the basic tail.
Whoa.
Cool. Whoa. It was a pleasant surprise for Derek as well. He'd been sure of what he was getting and ended up with more. Hopefully that would be a pattern of things to come. Thank you. Yeah, he deserves it. Derek shook the hand of the artisan very vigorously before bounding out of the chair to show you. Check it out. Not bad, huh?
Man,